Good morning, everyone. Welcome to yet another edition of our webinar series. And today we have another distinguished academic that will be putting us through the insights of getting international job offers and collaboration. Is no other person than Dr. Adeiza. He is a highly respected academic, though very youthful and agile. He's making us proud in Malaysia. We thank him for what he has been doing so far, for putting the flag flying high. Today, I will just read a little profile about him. It's very inspiring. He's a fellow of quite a number of very esteemed awards, and one of it is the uh, uh, Washington Award. He is also a member of many technical committees, both home and abroad, and he has worked in several business schools, among which is the Dangote Business School, and that of where he is now, Universiti, Malaysia, Kelanta. You are welcome, Doctor.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lowell, for that beautiful introduction. I am humbled. I want to thank you especially for inviting me to be part of this conversation. I do not think that I have anything special to share or that I've done something so extraordinary that warrant being recognized the way you have done. But, you know, be that as it may, I like to see this as opportunity to share my own little humble ideas and also learn from everybody that is participating. I also want to quickly thank the participants for finding time to be here. The fact that you are here shows that you're on your way to amazing things. You're on your way to greatness. Without further ado, if Dr. Aziz permits me, I will go ahead and share a little slide presentation that I've prepared. Initially, I didn't want to prepare any presentation. I just thought that I will come and share my personal stories, and just if there are some specific questions, I could take the questions and then we can all learn from each other and move on. Okay, sure. Thank you so much. All right, all right. Before I go ahead and share my stories, again, this is not a presentation, it's just sharing of my personal stories. And I want to quickly tell you that if you listen to 1001 individuals, academics that have left their country, I'm not just interested because I want to hope that I want to believe that there are people joining today that are not necessarily from Nigeria. So if you speak with 1001 people that have left their country, especially academics, to another country, and you want to know what the path is, what the route, what their stories are, I want to tell you that you are likely to get 1001 different stories. And no one story is the right way to go about it. So I just want to put this out there so that as you listen to me, you do it with open mind. What worked for me may not necessarily work for you. And there are other things that could work for you that could actually turn out to be a much easier path. So what I'm going to do essentially is just to share my story, and I hope that you will pick one or two insights from those stories. I have 5 ideas that I intend to share, essentially to anchor my stories around those 5 ideas. Initially, I just wanted to just tell the story, but then I thought that just a few hours ago, about 2 hours ago, I thought it would make sense for me to provide some structure where I share, if you like, call it tips or secrets. Then I tell a few short stories around each of the idea to bring it home, to make it much more relatable. So the first question I like to ask myself, or rather, let me begin this way. If you are an academic, first of all, can we do this quickly? Just a way for us to make this conversation engaging. Can you quickly type your name and what you do? Just type it in the chat box so I get an idea as to who is here, who am I talking to, so that I can find way to sort of customize my message so that it will be much more useful to you. So just tell us your name and what you do. Your name and what you do, especially if you're an academic, just say a lecturer, senior lecturer, professor, whatever. I need those pieces of insight to help me make this a lot more useful to you. Okay, can we do that quickly and then we can move on? Okay, I can see Mr. Ahmed Tijani, lecturer. Can see Mr. Okorafor, lecturer as well. Dr. Aziz, lecturer. Associate Professor Henacho, thank you for making it here, Prof. It's an honor for you to choose to listen to me. We have Aminu Yusuf, Bank of Industry, former lecturer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Can we keep it coming? Engineer Peter, a lecturer as well. Okay, I think I get a pretty good idea as to who is here, and I may not be wrong to conclude that most of us here are lecturers, and I also want to sort of assume that we are interested in taking our craft internationally. We are interested in taking our lecturing profession beyond borders. So it's an honor for me to be able to share my stories from which you may be able to pick one or two insights that will help you to drive that interest in taking your craft beyond borders internationally. And the first question I may want to quickly sort of provide answer to is that it is not everybody, people that go abroad, that try to build relationship across the borders to advance their interests, may do that for various reasons. Some do that for better salary. Some do that for better condition. And I can tell you from my experience being in Nigeria, an academic in Nigeria, I'm moving over here, I can tell you quickly, we don't need to sugarcoat it. The condition in terms of salary is far better out there. I can tell you that straight away. And let me give you what, I will not give you a specific figure. I mean, some numbers, some figures have been bandied around, like a senior lecturer in Nigeria earning like 200,000, 220, 250,000 naira, as the case may be. Let's take the highest that I've seen around so far, 250,000 ringgit. I can tell you quickly, similar cadre, senior lecturer in a country like where I am, Malaysia, and roughly times 4 of that. I want you to keep that figure. Perhaps it could be a boost, a motivation for you to keep pushing. If a senior lecturer earns like 250,000 naira in Nigeria, I can tell you quickly that multiply that figure by 4, at least 4, minimum of 4. That's what a senior lecturer in Malaysia earns. You know, there may be give and take some few differences here and there, but we can anchor at that level. And if you talk about Dubai, Qatar, UAE, and so on and so forth, you can multiply that figure by 8. So which means a senior lecturer there, they call it assistant professor, and times 250,000 naira times 8. And if you now move over to different part of the world, like Europe and many part of America, you can conveniently multiply that figure by between 10 to 15, depending on the country and depending on the university. So speaking strictly about salary, it's a good reason to want to cross borders. It's a good reason to want to take your craft beyond borders internationally. You earn good quality money. That's just the reality compared to what is at home. And speaking about condition, I can also tell you, and by the way, let me quickly mention that my job is not to, I'm not one to talk down on my country. I'm not one to condemn Nigeria as a country, but I'm also not one to shy away from inspiring people, motivating people to take advantage of opportunities out there. So everything I'm saying here is not necessarily to say us as the worst in the world. No, of course, there are even countries, where conditions are far much worse than Nigeria, unfortunately. But here, I'm speaking to people that have ambition, people that have interest in leveraging their professional talent. So speaking about condition, working condition. So these universities out there, you get the best working condition. Your kids get to go to at least international school. For some countries, you pay that from your pocket, but for some others, like Dubai, Qatar, and others, they take care of your kids' international school, your kids' healthcare, your kids' education generally, and the conditions are far better. Just when we joined this meeting, my friend Dr. Aziz was asking me if internet will not be better, consumption will not, because I wanted to leave my slide on being shared. And I just smiled and I could understand. I could understand. Out here, that's not something that it is taken for granted. You have the best condition. You have high speed, virtually free Wi-Fi everywhere you go, especially within campus, to do your work, to do your best job. The university library is equipped with latest journals, subscribe to the best journals on the world. I still remember back home then, number one, I can tell you throughout my time in UMK, I probably, and in BUK, I probably accessed I was able to get university Wi-Fi, not up to 3 days, all in all. That's like 12 years. It wasn't there. It just wasn't there. But that's something that is taken for granted. Just imagine having access to high-speed Wi-Fi, how much research you could do, how much knowledge you could build, and how much opportunities you could access. That's what we're talking about. Library, that also is taken for granted. Sometimes the reason why people don't produce good quality research is that they don't have good quality materials, good quality previous studies that they could use to support their current study, to build their theory, to write their literature. And that is something that is taken for granted. If you're somebody that is really interested, let's assume you don't even care about salary, you don't care about money, but all you care about is advancing your writing career, your publication career. Good reason for you to check out and explore opportunities out there is that out there, you have everything you need to support you in doing your research. And let's even assume that these two major issues are not of interest to us. We don't care about money. We are businessmen, lecturers, we can make money, we can provide our internet, we can get our articles, latest articles to do our work. Aside from these two, I can tell you, there are very few things as wonderful, as rich, as experiencing a different academic culture, especially for academics like us. We just need to be a lot more experiencing a different academic culture, even if it's just local, adds a lot of value, much less international. So that's one big why you want to consider checking out. I will speak a little bit more on mode of checking out. You can actually check out without necessarily leaving your country physically. I'll talk about that later. There are a lot of opportunities in that regard. So guys, these are some reasons, some whys why you may want to consider going abroad. And it is a rich experience. It's an interesting, even if it's just for 1 year, even if it's just for 2 years, please grab every opportunity you can get to experience this. So wherever you can find, and let me tell you, the number one thing, wherever you can grab these opportunities, please grab them with 2 hands. And if it is needed, add your 2 legs, to it and get it. It is something that you will be proud, you'll be happy you did eventually. And so, like I said, I essentially want to share my stories, and through telling my stories, you can get some insights, get some ideas as to some of the things that you could do to really brighten your chances of taking your craft to the global world. And I wouldn't waste time to just tell you quickly a quick secret. And that secret is nothing but that there are opportunities actually looking and waiting for you. There are opportunities for job. Are we good? Can I move on?
Please move on, doctor. Sorry.
All right. So the quick secret I want to share with you guys is this. There are international academic job opportunities waiting and looking for you. There are international collaboration opportunities looking for and waiting for you. And let me tell you a quick one. If you check all the universities that are ranked in QS, or those that are aspiring to get into QS ranking, one fundamental truth about them is that they are required to have 10% of their academic staff come from other countries, from other countries, essentially. So they are required to have 10%, a minimum of 10%. Some universities have as high as 20, 30, 40%. If you check universities in UAE, in Qatar, in Gulf, and part of Arab countries generally, you find that some of their academic staff, the profile of the academic staff, almost 30% or 40%, especially Dubai, you find universities where 60 to 70% of their academic staff are from other countries. So it's a fundamental requirement, and these universities are always looking for talent to fulfill this requirement, which means they are always looking for people like you, talented, ambitious people like you. So the opportunity is there. And then talk about collaboration opportunity, especially collaboration for publication and for research. Again, most of these QS ranked universities or other universities that are aspiring to get into the ranking, their academic staff, their lecturers, are mandated as a matter of KPI, key performance, indicators, to publish and do research with people, with academics from foreign countries, with other countries. And these academics are always looking for talent, determined people like you to work with, to do research with, to publish papers with, because it's a requirement for their promotion. Not just promotion, even before the promotion period comes, their annual evaluation, like my own annual evaluation requires me to have done some work with people from other countries other than Malaysia. So this is it. This is something that perhaps some people don't know about. So it means the very structure of this foreign university is such that they are always having to look for people like you. So the opportunity is there. It's there for the taking. It's there for you. It's there waiting for you. So quickly. So I think what I need to do now is, how do you go about this opportunity? How do you assess them? How do you get them, secure them, and keep them? Before I go into sharing my stories, the first one, which is the ideal for many people, is that you actually get this job opportunity or collaboration opportunity and check out of the country of your country and go to another country to live and work. This is the ideal. Like I said, it's always a beautiful thing to be able to travel and explore the world and experience the world. But aside from this, there is a second option. The second option is what globalization and technology has made possible. There are many people I know, there are academics, they are in Nigeria, but they are earning money in dollars from universities around the world. So it means if the first option, which is the ideal, is out of reach, in the meantime, please do everything possible to assess the second option. The second option, again, is actually getting opportunities to add value to universities across the world and earn dollars, earn income while staying in Nigeria. So across these two options, I've been lucky to have participated in these two options. While I was in Nigeria before I moved over here, I was actually working for universities here in Dubai in so many ways, and I was earning money from them. So now for these two options, I'm going to share 5, I wouldn't call it tips, 5 ideas that I have gleaned from my experience. 5 ideas. Again, like I said at the beginning, if you speak with people like myself that have left their country and now working in a different country, if you speak with 1,000 of us, you'll get 1,000 different stories, 1,000 different how-tos. So this is essentially my story. And it may not necessarily work for you. Of course, it has worked for a number of people that have been able to mentor. So these are the 5 things you could look at. Number one is start from home. This is funny, right? You know, from my experience of coming over here all started from when I was in Nigeria. So how do you go about this? I'll tell 2 stories in this regard. The first one is about how to assess international research, collaborative research opportunity. Back in Nigeria in 2010, my boss then, Professor Muritala Sagagi, secured this DFID UK government-sponsored 3-year research. 3-year research that required us to travel to different countries, where we eventually went to 2 countries, Dubai and Philippines. And I was involved in that research, not from the blues. There are so many other academic staff in my department that my boss then could have chosen, but he chose me to lead the project. And that project, not only, apart from taking me outside the country for the first time, so to speak, it boosted my career, my profile, and it opened my eyes to a lot of possibilities. And if you ask me why my boss trusted me, why he selected me then, my answer is going to be this. I built a solid relationship with him. Right from the day I stepped into the department, the business school. So I identified him because I've always wanted, this is it. I've always wanted to take my craft to the international arena. So I had to identify among my senior colleagues who among them had had contact or interest in doing projects that are cross-border in nature. So I identified him and a few others, and I built a solid relationship with him. I will speak more about building relationship later. When we talk about this building relationships, it's not just about making somebody knows that, oh, I am your friend. There are a lot of is investment, is sacrifice, is sometimes forgetting about your own personal interest and working to add value to that other person. So I built that relationship with him, and a whole lot of things. The time we have will not be enough for me to tell the number of things, projects we've had to work on together that solidify our relationship. And so it was what led him, because it was a high-profile project, and he involved me. It opened my eyes. So that was the first time I had international collaborative research project, because it involved a number of countries. The second story I will share is that there's this other senior colleague of mine called Professor Kabiru Isa Dandago. He wasn't in my department, he was in the sister department, accounting department. But over the years, since joining the university, I knew that he was somebody. So take note of this. I was looking for people that are interested in doing cross-border activities, cross-border projects. So I identified quite a number, but these two, I will share this story just to represent. So Professor Kebiru Dandago came over to Malaysia to do his sabbatical. And so he eventually did sabbatical for 2 years. The first year into his sabbatical program, he had a course to come back to Nigeria in 2013 with some staff from the university he was working here, because the university he was working here was that they were interested in increasing the number of their international students. So, and they saw it as an opportunity to actually travel to Nigeria with him to do some special recruitment. And when Professor Dandago was before he even left Malaysia to Nigeria, he had already contacted me and mentioned to me that these people are looking for so caliber of PhD student. And he has already recommended me as part of that. I was always interested. I wasn't considering Malaysia, but I always wanted to go abroad and study. So I can tell you story of my application to Harvard, to MIT, to Wharton Business School, to Stanford Bridge. Stanford, maybe I'm a Chelsea fan when I say Stanford. Stanford University. I pump a lot of money and I spend years. I started applying since 2008. That is 2008. For almost 5 years, I wasn't giving up. But it was in 2012 that Professor Dandago changed my perspective and enabled me to start thinking towards the direction of Malaysia. So he recommended me to be part of, and he told me all the benefits that I stood to benefit, which eventually come to pass, which eventually became reality. And the point I want to stress is, why would he choose me out of the many young academics that were with him, that he knew then? It was because of the relationship I had with him. It was because of the relationship I built with him. So the journey all started from home. It all started from, it all has to start. Now, speaking directly to you, it has to start. Don't look too far. Don't go looking for something in your Sokoto. Start from where you are with what you have, with your personality, with your ability to, to work with people, to build relationship, to add value to other people's lives. It all begins from there. But for specifically, if you're somebody that is interested in going abroad, you have to be discerning. You have to make some critical decision as to who among your senior colleagues or who among people in your contact. It doesn't even have to be senior colleagues, or it doesn't have to be people that are in close proximity with you. It could be just anybody you know in your network that has contacts out there. Identify them and start the process of building relationship with them, such that it get to a point where they too want to reciprocate, for what you have been doing for them. So it all begins from home. And I've shared 2 stories in my life that represent this very, very fact. And I know a couple of other colleagues, that they actually were not even colleagues, they were students. They were just students back home in some of the universities back home, but because of the way they were relating with their professors, with their lecturers, when those lecturers came across opportunities to take them abroad, either for job or studies, those lecturers recommended them and did everything they could to push their name, to sponsor them. That's number one. Number two, the second point that I just want to share with you is study abroad. I won't deceive, I won't stay here and tell you that it is necessarily an easy job to just, offer. It is not an impossibility, but it's also not cheap. It doesn't come easy. So the second point from my experience is that explore opportunities to study abroad, to do a master's, a PhD, or even a postdoc abroad. Or at the very least, look for resources or opportunities to attend a conference where you are likely to meet influential people, influential academics, not just any conference. So you have to be careful with that. You can attend dozens of conferences and you don't get to meet people that are influential. So before you spend your hard-earned money on attending such international conference, if that's the way, if that's the option that is convenient for you, please take a look at the list of attendees or the speakers that have been invited, or even the caliber, the quality of the conference, the organizers. So from there, you can meet people. You can, if you're somebody that is very good at networking, you can build a solid network and get these people to work with you, to recommend you for opportunities, to introduce you to people that will assist you, and so on and so forth. But from my own personal story, I can tell you that the fact that I studied here in Malaysia made it possible for me to build relationship. It got me close to that opportunity. If I had not studied here, well, if God still wanted me to work elsewhere other than Nigeria, it would still have been possible. But speaking to you from my own experience, the fact that I studied here helped a lot. It put me in contact with people that are influential. It put me in contact with people that can open doors for me. And I know that it's not an easy thing. So that's why I will suggest there are opportunities out there to do this. There are many opportunities. You can take advantage of federal government scholarship. You can take advantage of scholarship offered by specific countries. Like in Malaysia, there is a scholarship they call Malaysian International Scholarship that they give to anybody from other Commonwealth country, which Nigeria is one. So every year they offer scholarships in millions of dollars whereby you can come over here, do either a master program or a PhD program, and you'll be sponsored 100%. Same goes for UK. There is Chimney Scholarship. It's usually off for master's program, but they also sponsor a few PhD. There is Commonwealth Scholarship. So please, the problem is that some people either don't know about this or they are not putting in the work, the effort required to get this. If other people are getting it, why not you? You can get it too. So, and also another opportunity is specific universities abroad offer scholarship, general scholarship to people like you to come over and do either a PhD or a postdoc. I give you an example from my experience. While studying here, I was given, the university gave me its own scholarship, its own in-house scholarship called UUM Scholars Award. And I was given enough money to take care of my living allowance, if I didn't have any job, I didn't have any other sponsorship at all, and it really, and the very worst for loan, do self-sponsorship. I know a lot of people that came over here and went to other countries on their own time, on their own bill, on their own budget. It's not easy, it's tough, but you can do it. So if we're talking about, opportunity for international academic job, these are the ways. At least this is how I was able to do it, and you can do the same too. Let me also quickly mention the last point before I move on. Opportunity for postdoc. This opportunity in particular is always there. I know quite a number of us have had our PhD. We're not necessarily looking for another opportunity to do another PhD, but how about postdoc? That's something you can do. And one thing with postdoc is that you're not going to spend any money in school fees. Most universities that will take you who waive all manner of fees, not only waive all manner of fees for you, they pay you money, they pay you monthly stipend. And let me tell you, in my university, and just like every other university in Malaysia, you are paid an equivalent of a minimum of 500,000 every month if you're able to get their postdoc, a slot for their postdoc program. And at the very worst, even if university got their postdoc program here, and just like every other countries, are of two types. There's one, they will pay you. There's the other one that you are not going to be paid. But even if that's the one you get, the one where you are not paid, but you are given opportunity to interact, to come over here and build relationship, please take advantage of it. And these opportunities are always there. Right now, my business school, we're about to put out application for postdoc candidate, but that one we're not paying. Just, we're going to be recruiting 5. One will be paid about 2,000 ringgit, which is equivalent of about 300,000 naira monthly. But the majority will not be paid because we're using it just to build our international network. So such opportunities are out there. I'm happy to share that. And if I get the database of people attending this talk, I wouldn't mind to share with you when we open application for that. You will not be paid. Like I said, only one will be selected. That one, I'm hoping that it will be somebody from here, be that as it may. If you're not able to get that, we have other option where you'll be taken as our postdoc. You can work from Nigeria, but you also have opportunity to come over here and interact with, build relationship. And from there, relationship could lead to you actually getting an offer, especially if you impress, the bosses here. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I think I can move on from this. And also, let me also quickly share, just in case just in case. If you are able to come over here, there are also opportunity for research assistantship. Not just in Malaysia, in UAE, in UK, so all that is important. The point I want to stress is do your best. Do your best to go abroad and study. There is value in it. There is opportunity. There are opportunities that are waiting for you. But then I must also stress that you don't necessarily have to go abroad and do a study. You can attend a conference. Even if it's virtual, the important thing is that don't fold your arms waiting for manners to fall from heaven. It's not going to happen. Do something that connects you with people out there. Do something that puts you in contact with people that can make things happen for you. And even if you're already a professor, I mean, sometimes I pity for our colleagues, senior colleagues like professor working in Nigeria, unfortunately, because I know that they're just doing their best to help a broken system. And, and right now, as we speak, they've been at home unpaid for months, getting to a year. That's so heartless. So, and the thing is that there are opportunities out here for some of them that are interested. The problem I've noticed that is that some of them, our senior colleague professor, they feel like they have responsibility, their age, forget about that. We are in information age whereby nobody cares about your age. Nobody cares about any other thing. The only thing people care about is what you can add, what you can contribute, the value that you can add. If you know you have something that you can add, please take advantage of opportunities out there to improve your economics, to earn something extra. And even if possible, to come over, check out of the country, even if it's just 1 year, to do something and experience academic life out there. So this I just thought I should share so that we can grab all this. So my number three insight that I'll quickly share is that you need to build relationship abroad. You see, it's not enough to go and study abroad. It's not enough to attend conferences abroad. It's not enough to
Please continue. We'll mute them. Sorry about that.
Okay, it's all right. It's all right. There are many other Nigerian students that came over here alongside myself. When we came, at least my set, that came over here to study. And of course, this is by no means saying that they didn't do enough. They didn't do good enough job in building relationship. But the point is that most people didn't do it intentionally. They didn't do it consciously. So it's not enough to go out there, go to other countries and study and hoping that just by being there, jobs will come for you. It doesn't work that way. You have to intentionally build relationship with people, key people, influential people out there. That's key. I just share with you the importance of going abroad to study. And some people may think that all you just need to do is to look for money or get sponsorship to go. And if you get sponsorship to go out there and study, that's great. But for you to really achieve the objective of getting that international academic job or international collaboration work, you've got to build a solid relationship with people that matter. People that know, some people that are listening to me know me with my mentor. My mentor, the person that supervised my PhD. I wouldn't tell you that the process of he and I knowing each other was completely accidental, and I will explain. And then I'll tell you why, I had to head on to him. It was accidental in the sense that when I was coming for my PhD, curiously, unlike other students, they did not specify in my admission letter who my supervisor would be. In retrospect, I thought that, I now believe that it's just God's design that it wasn't specified. So it was when I got into the school, and he happened to be the dean of the business school then. And he was asking everybody, he was teaching us one course called academic writing. He was the professor in charge of that course. So when he came, and it was the very first course I was taking during my PhD program. He walked into our class, and before he started teaching, he, as the dean of the business school, he was trying to interact and know more about us. So when he came to me, he asked me who my supervisor was. I told him that, Prof, I don't have a supervisor. And also, he, as the dean, he was too busy to take PhD student. But I don't know, maybe because of the impression I made on him during the class discussion, or my attitude generally, he told me that I shouldn't worry, that he was going to think about something. 2 days after, he got in touch with me and told me that, yes, he's going to supervise me. The point I'm trying to stress is, from the day he agreed to supervise me, I took it upon myself. I was intentional. I've always had that dream that I would like to work somewhere outside my country. And here I am with somebody. He was not only the dean of a very big business school, he was an influential figure in the university. So I had to go all out, do my best to build a solid relationship with him. And it wasn't only with him, with the other professors. I mean, I put on my best behavior. I figured out ways. I took initiative to assist the business school. I was organizing seminars at the business school. I was adding value. I was practically telling them that if ever there was a time they needed somebody from Nigeria or from any other country to be a staff in this business school, they shouldn't look anywhere else. I am the guy they are looking for. So relationship building is not about, it's something you have to do consciously. It's something you have to invest in. It's like gardening. You have to put all your effort into it. And God, you stop at just building relation with that single person. It may work out for you, but for me, I was doing things generally. Professors and every other people within the business school, to the point that when the business school needed people some time to do MC for their program, it's me they will call. It's because you can argue that perhaps because I had an agenda. Yeah, you should have an agenda. If you're a human being, you should have ambition. But my agenda I didn't put my agenda at the front burner. I actually put it at the back burner. I wanted to work such that I didn't need to open my mouth and tell anybody that I needed this. I made sure I build myself. I made a contribution in such a way that I didn't need to sell myself. I didn't need to tell them I needed an opportunity. So that was what happened. Building, it's not just about going abroad. It's not just about going there to study. Consciously, intentionally build a relationship, add value, contribute something, surprise them positively. Do something that they cherish, something that will make them to feel like, even if we don't have a role, if we don't have an opening, let's create an opening for this guy. We need this kind of attitude, this kind of character in our space. So that's what it is. And you don't necessarily have to travel abroad to do this. If it is conference that you are able to attend, after the conference, reach out. So I think at this point, I need to share this. Some of us attend conferences, we gather dozens and dozens of business cards. And those business cards will return home. We'll be telling ourselves after some few days, I'll get in touch with them, and so on and so forth. That's how you forget. That's how you lose valuable relationship, valuable network. This is my secret. And I actually learned this secret from my supervisor, my PhD supervisor. Then he told me that the way to actually take advantage of attending those, networking sessions and getting cards, business cards from people, is that right before the event ends, start contacting them, start sending them message, start writing an email to them, start appreciating meeting them, start appreciating whatever little contribution they made during the event. Tell them what you like about their presentation, what you like about their person. That's how you start building the relationship right away. And before you know what's happening, you are impressing people and they want to know more about you. Before you know what's happening, you are sharing your experiences and they begin to plot, to connect dots and seeing how working with you will make a lot of sense. So do not wait after 3 days or 1 week after attending events or conferences from wherever before you start contacting people that you met during the conference. This one point I think we need to take to heart. And for me, one of the things that helped me in building my relationship is that let me cut some stories out of this because I know our time is running. In building my relationship, I built a relationship to the point that by the time I was graduating, I had 2 jobs here ready for me, waiting for me, mainly for my supervisor then. And my other professor, 2 jobs opportunity. And in addition to that, before I even graduated, they created a role. The university used to have a role called research assistant for international students. But at some point, they cancel that policy. But my supervisor had to push in addition for that role to be, that policy to be, that embargo on the policy to be lifted. And I was given research. I want you to know, I have no reason to impress you, to say anything just to impress you. There's no reason. Everything I say here is to tell you my story and in a way to inspire you, to let you know that these are some of the things I did that worked for me. And give and take, if you can also do it, it could work for you. So eventually I had to come to Nigeria because I was on a bond. The federal government sponsored my PhD and I had already signed a bond with my university then that I will return home and spend at least a minimum of the number of years that I spent doing my study. So I already had 2 jobs waiting for, one with the university, one with a government-linked organization in Malaysia then. So again, yeah, I had to return to Nigeria. And then while I was in Nigeria, this is important. While I was in Nigeria, I was making sure I add value to myself. I was taking courses. I was participating in community development activities. Keep in mind, don't forget, my goal was always to come back and work here. So because I had that goal, I identified activities and programs that I could be participating in that will prepare me best to be called back, that will prepare me best to be offered a job, that will prepare me best such that I didn't need to open my mouth to say, Prof, I want a job. So back to Nigeria, I was doing everything that I had to do, everything an academic normally should do. Our job revolves around 3 things: teaching, research, and community development service. I was doing my teaching. I was seriously involved in a lot of community development program. I was working with DFID, with US Embassy. I was assisting them. I was just all over the place. I was actually, forget about my intention to come and work abroad. I naturally want to add value. I naturally want to take things to the next level. I naturally want to do things that are too difficult for other people to do, or other people just don't care. For as long as those things make impact, add value to the society. I was running program for Facebook. I was running program for training program for my student on behalf of Google. I was just everywhere, just essentially making sure that I do what my appointment letter as an academic stipulate. The problem most of us as academic have is that we only focus on two of the three things, teaching and research. I tell you, frankly speaking, and this is one of the reasons why a lot of us are not, with all due respect, and are not, making the progress that we really are capable of making, professionally speaking. A lot of us restrict our life to campus, to university, to the four walls of university. We don't step outside the university to impact life in the community. We don't pay attention to the third leg of our KPI, which is community development service. And for me, I actually took it to a level that is actually beyond the minimum standard. I took community development service to a level, and that made a lot of difference. Before I move on to the next, the number 4 point is that I was not just doing that. I creatively, strategically used my social media to share what I was doing. And my supervisor and my contact here were always seeing what I was doing. I like to tell people, sometimes I make a post on Facebook just for one person to see, or make a post on LinkedIn just for that one person to see. So that's why it helps if you do your things intentionally, if you do your things consciously. So this is my stories, ladies and gentlemen. So let me move to the 4th point. Second to the last point is that be at alert to opportunities. Opportunities are always there. It is not true that opportunities are not evenly distributed. Yeah, some people say talent, everybody, is born with talent, but only few people happen to find opportunities. To a large extent, I disagree with that. We are born with talent. We're also born with a lot of opportunity. They are out there. I know many people will disagree with me. They are out there if you look hard enough. You don't even need to look too hard to find them. They are flying around. And to my respected senior colleagues and professors that are here, sometimes we just have to blend with the flow. I wonder why many of our professors are not on social media. Here in Malaysia and other places that I know, the professors, some professors even have 2 accounts. They have personal account and official account. But that's the kind of world that we live in today. Fortunately and unfortunately, you have to be out there. And in fact, if we really think in terms of our job requirement, I don't think university appoints us just to come and carry research and then hide the papers away, hide our findings away. We're supposed to share our findings with the world to see and learn from what we're discovering. And social media is a powerful way, to do all that. Social media is not just for the kids, the young, jobless, people that don't know what they're doing. Of course, there are people, that's what they use social media. You can use social media creatively to promote yourself, to brand yourself. Personal branding matters if you want to get international jobs or international collaborative research. It matters. If you don't know how to go about Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, get your kid. There is no shame in doing that. Get your kid or any of your students to put you through it. And it's actually pretty easy. You don't even need anybody to do that for you. So it's important. And the reason why that is important is that, if you're on Twitter, let's leave Facebook on one side, but at least Twitter and LinkedIn. If you're on Twitter and you follow the right people, you always see opportunities for jobs out there. There are handles on Twitter and LinkedIn that are dedicated specifically to sharing all these opportunities that we're talking about. So take advantage of them. Learn about them. And also opportunities for appointment and external examiners. They are there. They are there. assessor, they are there. Opportunities to be part of editorial team of a foreign university journals, they are there. But they will not come to your house, knock at your door, and tell you, hey, true. Bring your plan. Most they have a so again, LinkedIn is option. The camera doesn't write. They know we produce good quality research. In fact, there are universities abroad that the bulk of their research work comes from their Nigerian academics. The world already recognizes our talent, and you have the talent. Don't waste it away. You have a good opportunity to maximize the talent that you have spent money and years building. So this is what we're talking about. And there are websites. I have a few that I actually would love to share, but I don't need to do that. Just go to Google and type website job opportunities in academic job opportunities. Keep searching. They are there. Academic job opportunities in Malaysia, in Brunei, in UAE, in UK. Just type. You can do that. So, my respected listeners, I think I hope that that point is well taken. Still talking about, be and alert to job opportunities. Your network also matters. The network of people you have around you. Because it's from this network that you get to hear about which university is hiring for which job. So take time to deliberately, somebody like me, I don't have a lot of friends, and I'm happy I am like that. I am intentional in selecting the people that I make friends with. I have a lot of acquaintances. I have the whole world as an acquaintance. We relate, we're close, but I have very few close friends. And I take my time to select those. And I'm not doing that just for my own personal interest. I also want to select people that I can add value to, whose life I can add value to, and who also can add value to my life. So why your network? Number that matters. It's the quality of people in that network that matters. So please take this to heart and pay attention to it. To be at alert to opportunity and take advantage of it, widen your network, build your social media presence is just so important. You can, if you are interested in getting international academic jobs and collaboration, this is something I'm interested in my career. Last but not least, of course, I'm not. I can't say that I have exhausted. I have spoken exhaustively on these issues. That's why I hope there will be Q&A session where I get to share specifics on this so that we can, as a personal story, since I'm talking about personal story, for these, I not only invest in subscribing to sites, forum, platforms that remind me about which jobs, hot jobs out there, that remind me about which opportunities out there. I remember back in Nigeria, I subscribed to one platform called Funds for NGOs, because then I was into a lot of community development activities. I was looking for grants. I was looking for, research grants. I was looking for project grants. I paid money to subscribe to that. Again, that's one thing that a lot of people are not ready to do. They just want everything free and easy. It doesn't come that way. There's something that is good. For you. Now, let's move to the last point, my last point for today. And this last point is not in any way least. In fact, it is the point that wrap up all the points I have shared in a very beautiful way. It is one point that is so important. You may do every other thing that I've shared. If you don't do this particular point, if you don't pay attention to these, you may still be back to square zero. And I don't wish that for anybody. And the last point is that you have to be ready. You have to be mentally ready. You have to be emotionally ready. You have to be fully ready to take up opportunities out there. And how do you become ready? How do you get ready? There are 2 or 3 things that I think you need to, let me not forget something important. You need to be fully ready. Number 1, I will call it continuous personal development, investment in continuous personal. What gets you ready in the eyes of employers is not your big PhD. It's not your years of experience in the academic. It is the value, the experience that you have gathered. And experience is not equal, it does not equate long years in service. No, it is the number of projects, activities that you have participated in that would have one way or the other built you up. Built you in terms of attitude, in terms of character, in terms of knowledge. So that's why I will say that please do not joke, even if you're a professor and you are really interested in exploring the world. Do not joke with short courses, attendance of seminars, attendance of program, where you get to listen, you get to hear fresh perspective, participation in activities that will one way or the other help you develop competency that these people that are hiring people from other countries are looking for. Participate in activities that enhances your teaching and speaking flair. Take advantage of invitation to give a talk like this. But it's important. That's why I spoke about social media earlier on. When you are involved when you are engaging in this, don't hide it away. You don't need to have any shame in sharing on your social media that you are going to be giving the talk. I did that for this. I made a post about the fact that I'm going to be giving this talk. Because people are going to be searching for you. People are going to be looking at what have you been up to? What have you done that can convince us that given this role, this teaching role, this speaking role, this research role, this community development role, you can do well. So this is so important. And also, speaking about getting ready, please, if you really want to get ready, most universities out there are very, very big on one thing: publication. Publication, ladies and gentlemen, is key. In fact, you may be deficient in other areas, but if you've got a huge publication, especially publication not in your departmental journals, guys, not in your faculty journals. Publication in high-rank international journals, minimum of Scopus. It goes a long way. I understand that there are challenges back home to get our publication juice flowing. I understand. So that's why it's so important to collaborate with people out there that will allow you access to their resources. As I'm here, there are a lot of people from our country, that I work with, that I give free access to my university resources to do research, to get, fresh, new articles, that, with the right structuring, they can access some funding from here to do it. What is important is that you've got to be ready. And one of the ways to get ready for this opportunity that we're talking about is publication. Even if you cannot get into all these international journals, just make sure you're doing something. And when I say publication, academic publication is important, but also writing in popular magazine, we call it popular publication, writing in reputable industry magazines also can push you out there. That also can push you out there. In fact, there are universities that place more premium on those kind of writings. And when you do this again, whenever you write or publish, don't be scared, don't be embarrassed, don't be ashamed to share it on your social media platform, to share it to prove is that this thing that you have written in your CV, we can track it, we can see whether it's really true, whether you are telling the truth or you are not lying about. So that's the reason. It's sometimes some people post all those things on social media not to brag, not to show that they are the best in the world. They're just trying to keep a record and let whoever is going to be checking them out to see what they are up to. And let me tell you, people check you out every day. People that check you out, that see your Facebook profile or LinkedIn profile, you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. People are looking for you. So don't let that impression that you must have made, that made them to start checking you out, to go to waste. Don't let that happen. There are opportunities out there waiting for you. And also, the next point, apart from investing in yourself, which include attending short courses, taking advantage of speaking and training engagement, community development service, and publication, it is also important that you actively search for this job. You actively searching for this job requires you to study the university, what their vision, mission, and objectives are. What are they looking for? What do they want to be in the next 5 years? And try to see whether what you have, your skill set and your exposure. Because the truth of the matter is, these are organizations mostly private. Even those that are public, they are being run like private organizations. They are interested in who can help them deliver. They don't care which country they come from. They don't care. I mean, here in Malaysia, let me tell you, at least the one that is close to me, there are universities here are giving KPIs, like key performance indicators. And if they don't meet those KPIs, they won't be able to access grants. They won't be able to get more resources from government. And their VCs are very smart. Their deans are very smart. They go for people that can help them meet those KPIs. And what are those KPIs? Publication, community development activities, professional development, professional membership, things that you really, that I have been speaking about all along. So this is it, ladies and gentlemen. And the last point I will share in terms of getting ready is that please, your CV, get it ready as well. You don't write just see. Sometimes when I read some CV, when I look at some CV, I feel like crying. So this guy is looking for a job, yet he couldn't take time. He couldn't take time. He couldn't take time. He couldn't or she couldn't take time to design a professional looking CV. So this is important. A lot of people will just overlook, underrated, because that's just the first introduction. The first introduction that will introduce you to your prospective employer or prospective collaborator or partner. So make sure you make a good first impression through the design of your CV, through the arrangement of your experiences. I still see people writing working experience. What is working experience? Those are simple things. It's work experience. Small things that you need to take into cognizance. And also, please do stop submitting one and the same CV everywhere. That's the easiest way to kill your dream. That's one reason why you're not being called for interview. Submit CV that is appropriate. Take time. It's hard work. It is. Take time. Adapt your CV to the need of each organization you are taking your CV to. Change some things. Some organizations are interested in your educational qualification. So move your educational qualification up to be the first thing they are seeing. Some are interested in your experiences. Move, so that's why you need to study the organization, study the role. What is the requirement? What are they looking for? What problem do they have that they are looking for people to come and solve for them? So there are a whole lot that we can talk about, but I think I may have to stop here and take specific questions, and I'll be glad to answer some of the specific questions that you may have. But before you ask your specific question, there is probably one last point why I have not made it a key point here, but it's an important point. And that's probably because I see myself as a religious person. The power of prayer cannot be underrated. Please, wherever you do, wherever it thinks that you're pursuing, especially something as important as international academic offer, do not underrate the power of placing it in the hands of the Almighty. Pray about it. And when I say pray, it's not just casual, ordinary prayer, special prayer, and make it clear to God that you need this thing for sure. And God that I know will always come to our aid. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be on standby to take your question, and I'll be happy to answer your question. Dr. Aziz, over to you.
Thank you very much. We have really nailed our topic. We thank you once again. We have not paid Dr. Adam for this session, and he has delivered over an hour plus lecture. I believe a good percentage of these participants will be moving to get international collaborations and jobs in the nearest future. I can say very well that you have tackled the reason for learning in terms of new knowledge, in-depth knowledge, application, and change. It is quite applauding, and we thank you so much. This is our 10th webinar series, and it has always been better. The last one was from Professor Rotimi Gaden, who is also here. He nailed it on how to write articles for international journals, and we thank you once again, Dr. Adam. Let's open the floor for those that want to ask questions or make comments. Then I also want you, before you leave, to give us the requirements for this postdoc you have told us casually, because I hope that that will be in Malaysia too in your university to pick such opportunity.
You're welcome.
All right, participants, please, let's make very good use of these 5 more minutes so that we can call it a day. You can type it or raise up your hand or mute yourself and speak. Professors, we have so many professors here. Let's acknowledge their presence. They've always been with us as mentors. May God continue to increase your wisdom, your knowledge, and your health.
I mean, it's actually a big honor for me to have very senior colleagues joining to listen to us. I am a nobody. I'm just a small boy. And it's really a big honor for our very senior colleagues to have found time to join and listen to us. I'm looking forward to learning from them, meeting them, and I'll be happy to share opportunities that I know will be of value to them.
Okay. Nobody is talking about questions. Let me see if we can get some on the chat box. No questions, just appreciations. It seems everybody got the message clear. And if we can't get questions in the next 3 minutes, we'll call it a day. But before we call it a day, let me also share that this forum, there's a forum on WhatsApp, and we have over 600 members, both senior colleagues in terms of professors, senior researchers, senior professionals. Like the next webinar will be delivered by a professional from HR, in a group head of one of the big firms in Nigeria. So we're looking at improving our soft and hard skills, because nobody will give you in the four corners of the university, just like Dr. Adam have said it. But platforms like this can make it easier for us to tap from the knowledge of those that have gone through it. And I will share that platform. In fact, the first platform is filled up already. The second one is almost getting filled up. And we hope that we'll even migrate to Telegram so that we can get more people on board. But the essence of this is just to say that people are ready to learn. And we thank people like you that have volunteered your time to share your knowledge with us. We hope that in the future, scholars, young academics, middle level academics will be able to rank well in the world, wherever they find themselves. And Dr. Adam, don't leave us. We'll still need you in terms of information on adjunct lecturing, researchers. Even from Nigeria, there are remote jobs, just like you have said, UNICAF in Cyprus. There are so many in Dubai, US, and Mexico. So please, all this information, we'll also add you to that platform so that mentors like you can be giving us such information. Okay, I think we don't have questions, we don't have comments. Let me thank you once again. Let me pray that God in
Absolutely. There's a question there.
okay.
I think one
Okay,
person.
please, can you give specific
Uh,
examples of your community development programs?
okay. Yeah, like I mentioned, I was just essentially all over the place. I was I think what I can say, if you're interested in community development program, which you should as an academic, again, it's part of your job, you have to identify specific fields, specific areas that you want to make impact on. For me, I chose to focus on anything that has to do with women empowerment, agriculture, uh, leadership development of young people, entrepreneurial development of young people, especially in the community where I was working. So specifically, the example of community development program I was participating in, I did mention that I was running training on behalf of Facebook, IT trade, digital marketing training on behalf of Google. I led a program called Mafita. Those of us who are from the North will remember, will know the meaning of Mafita means. It means way out. So it was a program sponsored by the defunct DFID, funded by UK government. So it's essentially for developing the entrepreneurial skill of vulnerable young people in northern Nigeria, and also supporting MSME owners in taking their businesses to the next level, not Buhari next level, to real next level, you know. So and we did a lot of work. We were all over the place. We even introduced what we call mobile MSME clinic, which is a template they are using, you know, in other places they are operating now. Though the program came to an end in 2020, but it's a replacement. The program was replaced by another program called LINS. So if you're an academic staff and you reside in northern Nigeria, please do find ways to be participating in things. You don't have to be the lead. You can, because then we always needed enumerators, we always needed supervisor, we always needed people that can work with us, people that have at least research foundation, research background. So these are things you could participate that you add in your CV that really convince, universities out there that you have a good grasp of community development service. It is something that is in your blood. It's something that you really want to do. And which makes you an appropriate, the right candidate for their faculty. So and I also got involved in. I remember there was a particular class that I was teaching. What I did essentially was to break the class into different groups, each group corresponding to each of the 17 SDG, and then we were all over Kano, all over northern Nigeria, trying to, the students who contribute resources. I got this because the class was a leadership class. I wanted them to actually experience leadership, not from theories, but from the actual act of leading themselves, of leading team, of making impact in the community. And I know students that participated in that, up to today, they still send me message telling me how wonderful it was. That was a program that it wasn't sanctioned by the university. I'm not even sure university recognized we're doing anything like that. But I just took it upon myself to do what I could, to meet the terms of my contract, which is teaching, research, and community development. And before we know what was happening, organizations recognized what I was doing. And I got called from many quarters. It eventually led me to participating in other national assignments, including developing the new National Development Plan that Nigeria is using, National Development Plan 2021 to 2025. I was involved in developing the trade investment and business environment section of that. So that's what you do. That's what you get when you go out of your comfort zone and do things that benefit the community. Where you are doing it, you may be thinking you're just wasting your time, but you're not wasting your time. You're building your leadership profile, and organizations are out there looking for people like you. So I will encourage our colleagues, to get involved in those kind of things. Don't limit your life to the university world. That's one thing I keep telling my younger academic colleagues. Do not limit your entire academic life within the four walls of universities. Get out there. In Kano, I'm not from Kano. So it was supposed to be a limitation for me that I wasn't from there and I wasn't speaking the language, very well, that I wasn't out there. I had a perfect excuse not to step out of the university, but I wasn't ready for any excuse. I was out there. I was participating in several activities. When the US government wanted to create more awareness, for AGOA, African Growth and Opportunity Act in Northern Nigeria, they reached out to me. And I was there, even though I don't speak the language. Whenever a program require, local language, I had people, I had ex-students, I had colleagues, I had friends that could speak the language and make sure we achieve the impact that we're looking for. So these are some of the things we really can do, to put ourselves out there and achieve whatever personal goal that we have in mind to achieve. I think Prof. Rotimi,
yes, the last
Rotimi's hand is up.
Yes, he said, what's the number of years required for postdoc after PhD?
Okay, yeah, it varies from one university to another. For my university, you must have done your postdoc within the last 5 years. And you must not be more than 40 years. That was the policy as of last year. But I will need to check to make sure that there is no update, there is no review. But like I said, it varies there are universities that don't care. They don't care how old you are. They don't care how when you finish your PhD? There are, and I'll be happy to share, to curate those universities and share with us. There are universities that the only thing they care about is what you are coming to add. And most universities are like that today. They don't care if you have been a professor for the past 20 years. They don't care if you had your PhD for the past 20 years. They only care about what can you do, which is often evidenced by what you have done before. Publication, contribution to community development, where have you taught, what sort of things do you teach, things like that.
Okay, Professor Alai and Professor Ritimi, please, we still
Thank
need
you,
to
sir.
speak. All right, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Assis.
Yes, sir.
In fact, you have been very wonderful with this your seminar series.
Thank you so much.
I've gained from Dr. Adeiza. Am I correct? Dr.
Adeiza.
Adeiza.
Yes.
I really love your presentation. So I will be very happy if you can make available to us those universities where they don't mind the number of years that someone have gotten his PhD, because most universities, they based their postdoctoral program on those who have completed their PhD program within the maximum of 5 years. But if you can let us have those that can allow even professors to come for postdoctoral program, I will so much appreciate it. You have done very well. You are already a professor. You and Dr. Bosun Lawa. You have made us to be educated, and it seems this thing should not end. Thank you so much. Bye, sir.
Thank you so much, Prof. Rotimi. I claim the prayer. I say amen to that prayer that you just made for us.
Amen.
Prof, let me quickly share that. I will try my best to curate the universities that will take postdoc without any regards to years of experience. Age and years within which the candidate has had his or her PhD. I will do that. But what I would like to quickly mention is that most of those universities are universities where they don't actually pay their postdoc. But I want us to understand something. Sometimes the pay is just symbolic. There are other things that you can earn being part of them, being affiliated. So even if they don't pay you monthly, you'll be working on research grants where the research project where they got a lot of grants from government or from international organizations, and they will pay you through that. And aside from that, for instance, my university, until recently, of course, the policy is also being reviewed. If, for instance, you are a postdoc candidate, even if you are in the category of those they are not paying, each time you publish, there are allowances. There are stipends that you get. And the allowances could be as high as about 200,000 or 250 or 300,000 per paper, depending on the quality of the paper or the publication. So there are always ways, at least I wouldn't tell people to just come out here and do free work. No. Even if it is free on your appointment letter, I want you to look at the bigger picture. There are opportunities there are other opportunities around that you can always capitalize on. Yes.
Professor Alai, very quick one, sir.
And also, sorry, Prof. Rotimi, another prof here. There are other options for you to still be part of universities here. They have adjunct professor appointment. You can be appointed as an adjunct professor. You can be appointed as a visiting senior fellow, or you can be appointed as a visiting research fellow. So all these are other opportunities out here that you can capitalize on and actually, get wonderful collaboration opportunities from here, or even a job offer from here.
We're running out of time. Professor Alai, very quick one, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Lawa, for anchoring this program. And great thanks also to Dr. Adams for a very wonderful presentation. And of course, the rest of the audience. So mine is just almost like giving a vote of thanks for this wonderful session. Then second, I want to ask if this program has been recorded and it's possible to send the recorded version to those who participated. Then thirdly, I am the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Kelanta University, and I'm thrilled by this presentation. So I'm wondering if Dr. Adams will be opportuned to have an online meeting with the staff. We can arrange for our staff for this kind of discussion to hold. We have a virtual classroom where the people can come in and then listen and then participate. So if that's gonna be okay, then probably I will want to get the contact so that we can fix the necessary program. Kelanta University is the second Imo State-owned university here in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you,
very
Prof.
much.
Thank you, Prof. Aloy. It's really a big honor to have you join this conversation today. And the offer you have made is a wonderful one. It tells me that you are really a transformational leader. You are not scared that some of your staff will eventually listen to this idea and leave you, but you are more concerned about their professional development. Thumbs up to that. I like that kind of attitude. We can do that. And Prof, let me tell you something. You know, having this kind of sharing of time, there are many collaboration opportunities. Prof, for instance, my university has this grant program where we can actually work with your colleagues, with your faculties, and then we'll provide some grant. If your university already has some small grant somewhere, it will even make it all the more powerful, because what we do is that we're not taking your money. Just tell us you are adding this amount of money to this collaborative research, spend your money the way you like, and then you use this collaboration to achieve multiple things. Number one, it will be recorded for your university as having accessed international grant. It will also be recorded for your university as having engaged in collaborative research. And if we eventually publish papers from those things, this is how universities get into QS ranking and stay there forever and keep increasing, keep moving up. And in many forums I have shared with colleagues from back home, I was opportune to be part of the 12 people that did the recent curriculum review organized by NUC. I worked on the entrepreneurship field. And each time I had opportunity, I told my colleagues, there are some simple, small ideas that we can implement that may not even cost our government any money, that will not cost the university any money, but that will boost our image in a way that we can't even begin to imagine. So the problem sometimes is that you don't have people that are really people like Prof. Aloy that are not even waiting to be told, but that are also just already taking initiative to get some of this thing done. And I hope to have as many people like Prof. Aloy as we can get, because it will really help our system back home.
All right, thank you, Dr. Adams. Professor Aloy, by God's grace, I will link you with him. All the necessary information will be shared. And I hope that many more partnerships like this will erupt from our platform. We thank you all for coming. This is a weekly show. We do a webinar every week, though it's free for now because we handle the cost and we don't give our facilitators anything. We thank you for coming without any fee. Dr. Adam, I really appreciate you. May God be with you. May God increase you in knowledge. I hope that our investors too, because there are so many people representing different investors here, will be able to share one or two goodies from you. I will share your number with, I will share your LinkedIn if you permit. Then maybe from there, from your interaction, you can know who to share your personal. But Professor Ayla, please permit me to share your details with him so that you can kickstart this development. Thank you for coming. We'll see you next week. Have a wonderful day. All right. Thank you, Dr. Adams. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.